At the heart of Halo 5 is Blue Team, comprised of 4 of the last Spartan-IIs. While Halo 5 will mark the first appearance of these legendary Spartans in the game, the story of Blue Team stretches back to the early days of the Spartan-II's training on Reach. First conceived during the early days of the Spartan-II program, Blue Team was originally comprised of Spartan-II trainees John 117, Kelly 087, and Samuel 034, though other Spartans were sometimes added based on individual training circumstances, including future regulars Fred 104 and Linda 058. Blue Team's first mission occurred in 2525, just weeks after the Spartans had undergone grueling augmentations. The mission to capture former UNSC Marine Colonel Robert Watts was not only Blue Team's first mission, but the first test of the Spartans and the program. Together, John 117, Kelly 087, Sam 034, Fred 104, and Linda 058 managed to infiltrate an insurrectionist base and capture the traitor. Though John was injured in a firefight, the mission was considered a great success. Later that same year, during the Battle of CETI, Blue Team and the Spartan-IIs suffered their first loss since those incurred during the augmentation processes. In subsequent missions, Sam's role was filled by former leader of Green Team Kurt 051 until he went missing in 2531. Over the years, the composition of Blue Team would fluctuate based on mission needs, though Kelly 087, Fred 104, and Linda 058 were often regular members. Then came the Fall of Reach. This event is infamous for many reasons, including the death of most remaining Spartan-IIs. Though battles had secretly been waged across the north of Reach for weeks, the final invasion force that arrived on August 30th marked the final fall of the planet. In the days prior, all available Spartan-IIs, 25 in total, had been called back to Reach to initiate Operation Red Flag, a plan to capture Covenant leadership and force a truce. When the final invasion force arrived, however, the Spartan-IIs went to work defending the planet. Blue Team, comprised of John 117, Linda 058, and James 005, were tasked with boarding Orbital Station Gamma, where a docked Prowler had failed to erase sensitive nav data. Meanwhile, the remaining Spartans, designated Red Team and led by Fred 104, were sent to Reach's surface to defend the orbital defense generators. After arriving at the station's dock, Blue Team encountered heavy resistance. Though they were able to destroy the nav data and even rescue some Marines, the mission ultimately ended with James being lost in space after his thruster pack was punctured by a needler round, and Linda clinically dead after a barrage of plasma fire caught her off guard. With his mission complete, John returned to the Pillar of Autumn with the rescued Marines and Linda's body. She was placed in cryo while John sought to learn the status of Red Team. As far as the Autumn knew, they had been lost when their Pelican was hit, entering Reach's atmosphere. With the planet all but lost, the Autumn left the Reach system with what they now thought to be the last surviving Spartan-II. When the Autumn was forced to make a seemingly random jump from Reach, the AI Cortana was able to derive a set of coordinates from a Forerunner artifact on Reach and another from Sigma Octantis 4. The coordinates ultimately led the Autumn to Installation 04, one of the Halo rings the Covenant had sought after for centuries. Battle broke out across the ring, but thankfully John 117 and Cortana were able to deny the superweapon to the Covenant by destroying it. Following Halo's destruction, John, Cortana, and a small group of survivors found Linda 058's cryotube, it having been ejected from the Autumn before it crashed on Halo, and then moved to return to human space. They hijacked a Covenant ship, the Ascendant Justice, and returned to Reach to evaluate a strategy for returning to Earth, as returning with a captured Covenant ship would violate UNSC protocol. Secretly, John also hoped to discover that some Spartan-IIs had survived. Upon returning, it seems the Covenant had remained, looking for an artifact. Further, John had been right. Some Spartan-IIs had survived, along with Dr. Halsey and Vice Admiral Whitcomb. Not long after, the group discovered that the Covenant had found Earth. With little other choice, the group planned to enact a first strike against the Covenant. Over the course of events, Dr. Halsey was able to resuscitate Linda, allowing her to participate in the strike, but Halsey also disappeared with Kelly 087, the good doctor having discovered the existence of another Spartan program. The operation was ultimately successful, a Covenant fleet of over 500 ships virtually destroyed when the command station was itself destroyed. However, the operation took the lives of more Spartans, the Vice Admiral, and a few survivors from Installation 04. John 117, Linda 058, Will 043, Fred 104, Cortana, and Sergeant Avery Johnson were the only ones to make it back to Earth. Not long after their return, the Prophet of Regret arrived at Earth with a relatively small fleet, but one that nevertheless was able to penetrate Earth's defenses. John 117 was immediately deployed to fight off invading forces, but the other surviving Spartans were held up. When the Prophet fled Earth, John, aboard the UNSC and Amberclad, pursued, but the invasion on Earth was not over. Blue Team, comprised of Fred 104, Linda 058, and Will 043, would be deployed to locations all over Earth, fighting off Covenant forces wherever possible. After a couple of weeks, a message came through from a planet called ONYX, a distress message from Dr. Halsey requesting the aid of her Spartans, promising a cache of Forerunner tech that could turn the tide of war. Fleet Admiral Lord Terrence Hood approved the request, and, hijacking a Covenant vessel, Blue Team departed for ONYX. Once there, Blue Team was led to the planet's core by Dr. Halsey, accompanied by the long-thought-dead Kurt 051 and a group of Spartan-IIIs, all while fighting off Covenant invaders. At the core, the group discovered a slipspace portal leading to a Forerunner shield world, and Halsey's true intent was revealed. She merely wanted to save her remaining Spartans. With the portal closing and the Covenant forces incoming, the Spartans had little choice but to enter the portal. Kurt 051, severely injured during an earlier encounter, stayed behind to make sure the Covenant would not make it through. Once inside the shield world, Blue Team and the Spartan-IIIs began to explore their new home. They discovered a huge cache of Forerunner technology and a group of Huragok left by the Forerunners, along with a means of escape. In February of 2553, the shield world was brought into normal space where the Spartans were met by an ONI team that had detected a slipspace anomaly created by the hidden shield world. Blue Team and the accompanying Spartan-IIIs were recovered, and Dr. Halsey was taken into custody for war crimes. Following these events, Blue Team was deployed on a number of missions, many of which remain classified. They were also offered the chance to integrate into the Spartan military branch as many surviving Spartan-IIIs had, but chose to remain with the Navy. On July 25, 2557, Blue Team was reunited with their former leader, John 117, after he had stopped a Forerunner threat to the Earth. Together, Blue Team was sent to investigate the loss of contact with an ONI science team and Spartan Team Black at Installation 03, a location John had been just a day prior. Arriving on July 26th, Blue Team discovered a dead ONI team, a dead Black team, and the Didact, the being John had defeated above Earth just a day before. The engagement with the Forerunner General proved difficult, but Blue Team ultimately succeeded with the help of the Forerunner Monitor 859 Static Carillion by dropping a section of the ring and the Didact on the Composer Forge and composing the Didact. After the battle, Carillion took the ring to an unknown location and Blue Team returned to Earth. John was ordered to take some time off, but decided to ignore the order. After getting their armor repaired, Blue Team set out to go wherever they were needed. In mid-2558, John was present on the human colony of Biko, attempting to stop an assassination effort on a human Zanghili peace conference. Though Blue Team's presence was never reported, it is generally assumed that they aided in John's efforts. Now, in late 2558, Blue Team has officially gone AWOL, and a special Spartan 4 team, Osiris, has been tasked with hunting down and returning them to the UNSC. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribing, and sharing it around. You are the reason I get to keep doing this, so thank you, profusely thank you. If you want to dive deeper into Halo's lore, head over to the Halo Archive. It's a lore-based community that welcomes everyone from experts to rookies. No matter what your working knowledge, you'll be sure to find a friend and a good time.